Hi, I'm Lisa Haydon with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, community focus on Washington County. And we are happy to have with us today Alma Burton of Washington County, lifelong resident, right, Alma?
Yes, I've always lived in Washington County, always, never moved out.
So she would be Alma Burton Burton.
Mm-hmm.
And Alma, we are celebrating Black History Month. And I thought it was important that we have you on here to talk about, well, first of all, to recognize you and all the involvement and what you've done to make Springfield and Washington County a better place, having lived here your whole life.
I've lived all my life.
So, first of all, we have to mention that you've been with Head Start.
Yes, ever since 1965, when Head Start started.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
That was the year Head Start actually started.
1965.
Yeah.
Yes.
Under, that was under President Lyndon B. Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's right.
I believe
we had
that's
the
right.
Civil Rights Act of 1964 signed by President Johnson, and then Head Start came into which is a wonderful program.
Yes, it's a wonderful program.
The federal government has funded it since that time for children really in deprived conditions during that time that needed the extra education to get them ready for kindergarten and first grade.
And when they first started, we went to summer and had a summer program before it started. It was in the summertime. I rode the bus with Mr. Walker 50 years ago.
Now, what, Mr. Walker?
Murray Walker.
With oh, you mean Murray, the bus driver?
The bus driver. I rode the bus with Murray Walker.
Okay.
And then he picked the kids up, and we took them to Head Start half a day. They only went a half a day.
That's
from
right.
8 to 12.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it was just in the summer when it first started. Uh-huh. And then it was eventually
over to the elementary school, the old high school, old grade school.
Okay.
It was over there. That's where it was.
Okay.
And I rode the bus with Murray Walker.
And Murray's still driving the bus.
Still driving the bus.
And you're still working with Head Start.
When they recognized in 50 years, I said, "What happened to me?" Because I was on the bus with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they, but you've been recognized for your 50 years of service, right, with Head Start?
No.
You haven't? That's because you've been with them now almost 55 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you retire?
What I did, I retired when I turned 62, but I didn't stay off only a month, and then I went right back.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then, so golly, Alma, well, we're just going to recognize you right here.
Yeah.
On Channel 6.
Yes.
And cause I mean that's a lifetime.
A lifetime. Yes.
So Alma, so you started out. Did you? Now you were a teacher.
I started out with Miss Catherine Simpson in the summertime. Okay. And that was before Central Kentucky took it over. See, I worked with Miss Simpson and Miss Haydon over at the elementary school like 2 years before it started.
But so the school had it under their umbrella initially, and then it went to Central Kentucky Community Action Agency.
Yes.
Okay. And so you started out. I mean, what did you just have? How many classrooms did you have?
We had 2, Miss Simpson and Miss Haydon.
Okay.
And I worked with Miss Simpson.
And not every, child could get in. It had to be a child with some disabilities and things that was preventing their
yes,
learning.
Like a speech delay or something, yeah. Because when Miss Simpson had him, I can remember some of the kids that I even had. I can remember the kids that I had on.
And now you can see how well some of them have done because of that Head Start.
Because of Head Start, I can see how well. Yes.
Yeah. So, Alma, then you worked with Head Start as a teacher, and then.
Then I was an assistant, and now I'm a co-teacher.
A co-teacher. Okay.
Yes, I was co-teacher.
So, and that program expanded. So now where's the classroom?
I've been in all the classrooms really. At Springfield, and then I went to Mackville, and then I went to St. Rose, and I went to St. Catherine's, and then everyone that's in Springfield, I've been in the classroom. And now I'm in Marion County at West Main. I've been in everyone at Head Start in Lebanon.
Now, our Head Start in Washington County now is out at North Washington School, correct?
No, it's at St. Rose.
Oh,
it's down at St. Rose. The Head Start's back down at St. Rose.
Oh, it's back down at St. Rose. It was at St. Catherine last, and then when they closed, it went back to St. Rose. Okay, so it's in the old school at
building in St. Rose.
Okay.
But I think they're going to build a building for Head Start and then, move it from St. Rose into the new building.
Okay. So, well, Alma, congratulations on your 55 years of service at Head Start.
Yes.
And during that time, of course, you had how many children?
I had 8 children, but I've raised 10.
Okay.
I had 8, and I've raised 10.
And were those
8
relatives?
of them are my children. No, 2 of them, they wasn't.
No relation?
No, but one boy I took at 15. He was 15 when I took him. Still got him. So he's still with me. I never met his mother. Never met his mother. Never met his father, but one day they brought him home. My children brought him home from school and said he didn't have any place to go, so we took him.
And he's been with you ever since. How long has that been?
He'll be 60 this year, so he's 15 when I got him.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that, Alma. So, so he still resides with you?
Yes.
Okay.
He's still with me.
Well, of course, some of your children I know, but I swear I don't know if I could name them all, so you're just going to have to... Eight children of your own, starting with the oldest.
My oldest is Tony.
Okay.
And my second one is Pino.
Okay. Everybody knows Pino because he works in the bricklaying.
My third one is Delina. She lives in Lexington.
Okay.
My fourth one is Frank. Everybody knows Frank.
Everybody knows Frank because he does the DJ. DJ, Frank. And they call him Frankie Boy.
Frankie Boy. And then Carolyn. She lives in E-Town.
Okay.
And then JT. Everybody knows JT.
Well, everybody knows JT because he coached here at Washington County and at St. Catherine.
Now he's in Tennessee.
Right.
And
he's been on Channel 6 before. We've interviewed him.
And then I have Twyla.
Yeah.
And then I have Crystal.
Okay. And Twyla, now what does Twyla do? She's here in Springfield?
No, she lives in Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Twyla lives in Lebanon. She has 2 children. Crystal has
and Crystal just married not very long ago.
Not very long ago. It hasn't been a year yet.
Okay. And
Pino just married.
Pino married too. Both of them married in the same year, didn't they?
Same year, uh-huh. Yes.
So you got a lot going on this year,
One July, 1 September.
Oh, well, of course, Pino's a little older than Crystal, but now you have how many grandchildren?
I cannot tell you. I just say I have several. Several grandchildren.
You don't know how many you have?
I have 20 some odd. That's what I say. I won't say how many. Then I have great grandchildren.
How many great grandchildren?
20 some odd.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Well, and of course you've had the granddaughter who's been ill.
Yeah, she's
cancer.
Doing good. She's doing real good.
Okay.
She's doing really good.
And how old is she?
She's 16.
So we want everybody to pray for her.
Yes.
Because she's been, she's a student at
Marion County.
Marion County. Mm-hmm. And high school. And so she's had some,
she's
been out of
problem.
school.
She has a tumor. She had a tumor. But she's doing really good. She goes
Is she
to school.
going through chemo now?
No, not right now. She's going through chemo right now.
On a pill?
On a pill.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But she's doing good. She goes back to school. Her mama takes her to school, and she goes and eat lunch with her friends, and then she goes and gets it. Then she goes back again around 2 o'clock. She goes back to class, and then she goes and gets it. Let her stay an hour, and then she comes back.
Oh, okay. So not in school a full day.
No, she can't do a full day, but she's doing really, really good.
Is that Twyla's
That's Twyla's daughter. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
JT's too was in Tennessee with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, oh Lord.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah. JT.
Well, now tell me, so of course, we couldn't have an interview with you, Alma, without remembering your mother, Rosalie.
Yes, Rosalie. Everybody knows my mother.
Yeah.
Everybody knows my mother by her jokes.
She always got about town.
Mm-hmm. With her hat.
With her hat. Always made up. Always looked, like a movie star.
Yes. Yes, she did.
But yet, on the other hand, she did. She labored hard.
Yes.
She, as you mentioned the other day, she raised the Kelly kids.
Yes, she did. She raised the Kelly kids.
That was E.O. and Mary Thelma's kids.
Yes.
And worked in their household and took care of the kids and cooked and
she
cleaned.
Worked for the Hatchets. Mm-hmm. Also, she worked with the Hatchets.
But you'd never know she worked a day in her life because she always looked perfect. Not a hair out of place.
No, she didn't. She didn't have a hair out of place. And wore a hat every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. So now, Alma, of course, now, I think times are different from what they were when you were growing up.
Exactly.
And so I know that you have, of course, you're involved in a lot of things in the community, a member of the Business and Professional Women's Club. You always help with the wine tasting. And I know you're a member of the Democratic Women's Club.
Yes.
And I don't know, and active in your church and all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. So that's is that the
First Baptist?
First Baptist.
Mm-hmm. On Hot Street.
And so, but you've given a lot to the community, but when you were growing up, I know times were tough.
Yes, we had a good life when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. Our dad and mom and my grandfather owned a farm, and we worked on the farm a lot. That's where we grew up, on the farm, and grew up in Gravelswitch, Kentucky.
Oh, it was in Gravelswitch.
Gravelswitch,
I thought you
Kentucky.
were here in Washington County.
It was in Washington County.
Oh, okay.
It was in Washington County, but it was on Logan Road. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, it was in Washington County.
Okay.
And we grew up
on the Washington-Marion County line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. We grew up out there. And we went to a one-room school. We had to walk. We had to walk like 5 or 6 miles a day, one way.
That far, one way?
One way, yes.
Didn't have a bus?
Well, we couldn't ride the bus. We couldn't ride the bus with the white children. We had to ride the bus with the black children.
Is that right?
And so we had to walk like 6 miles, 5 or 6 miles to get on the bus.
Huh.
See, we walked from where we lived over on Logan Road to the Percival Road to get to our school bus.
Okay. To get to your school bus, which was with all black children.
Yes.
I see. Well, gosh, I never even thought about that one, Alma.
Yes. That's how it was back there when we went to school.
And where was the school?
The Bethlehem school by the Bethlehem church.
Okay.
Right by the Bethlehem church. And
that was a
all black school.
All black school. Okay.
And we had a one-room school. And now you can't teach school, say you can't have but 10 children. One teacher. We had one teacher with 8 grades, 1st through the 8th grade.
Oh my gosh. How many students were there?
Well, I say she had at least 50 students, 1st through the 8th grade. But nobody, it was fun.
And I would imagine, well, like you see on some of these programs, of course, I never saw that, but the older kids help teach the younger ones.
Kids, yes. The older kids help teach the younger kids.
Yeah.
Her name was Philomena Smith. She was a Moore, Philomena Moore at first, and then she married a Smith. And she lived to be 103.
Oh, my.
Yeah, she lived to be 103.
So how long did you go?
I went from the 1st grade to the 8th grade.
Okay.
And then when I graduated from the 8th grade at Bethlehem, I went to Rosamore.
Which was in Marion County,
in
Lebanon.
In Lebanon, yes. And then we had to get on a bus, get to the bus, walk to the bus, and go from our house to Springfield, come to town, and then go to High Street and get on another bus and go to Lebanon.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
And Van Simpson drove our bus from Springfield to Lebanon.
Van Simpson.
Van Simpson.
So, my gosh, you hear those stories. I had Paul Newby on here recently, and, he talked about walking to the school bus, but he didn't have to walk as far as you did.
Yeah,
you walked a long way.
Yeah.
In the snow, the rain, everything.
Well, yes. Never missed a day of school. You didn't miss school.
Yeah.
We started school in September. It wasn't like it was now. Because August, we start now. But we started school in September because we had to do the farm work.
Yeah.
To August.
Yeah.
And then with September is when school started.
So how many children were in your family?
It was 8 of us, 4 boys and 4 girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you worked on the farm, too?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
Lord, yes, we all had to work back there then. And then when we had a drive-in here. Well, we couldn't. We had
the drive-in movie theater.
Down at Broadtown.
Okay. Oh,
and
yeah.
they had a white section and a black section. So we had to sit on one side, and they had to sit on the other side. We couldn't sit with the children then. We couldn't drink out of the water fountains.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about that at the time?
Well, I didn't think it was nothing because one day when we was at the drive-in, I wanted to go in and see what the white children had in their bathroom. So I went in, and they saw me go in. When I came out, Mr. Ball said, "Why did you go in that bathroom?" And I said, "I wanted to go see what the difference was." And
now, who was Mr. Ball, the owner?
That's the owner of the drive-in. And he said, and I said, well, I didn't see any difference. All I saw that ours was cleaner than this one. He had paper all over the floor. So he said, you can't go in there no more. Yeah. Then they had water fountains right here by the courthouse that had colored people on the inside and white people on this side. And I drank out of the white people's water fountain. I wanted to see the difference in the water. And my dad told me I couldn't do that anymore. So I said, well, I just wanted to see the difference, but all the water tastes the same.
But, that would make you wonder why, And what did your father tell you why it was?
He just said, that's for them, and this is for us. We, back there then we listened. because our safe place, to me, our safe place was to go to school. We had our dad and mom was really good parents. But school was a safe place to go. School and church was a safe place to go if you wanted to go anywhere, and home. But now, school is not a safe place anymore, and church is not a safe place with all the killings. I said, oh my Lord. Yes.
But yes, of course, well, all of us at that, when we were going to school or church, always considered a safe place.
Safe place, yes.
And you think what these children today now, what's on their mind about any place they go. A concert, anything.
Anything. We could go and, we never heard so much killing.
Yeah.
We never did anything like that when I was growing up.
Yeah. Did you hear, Alma? I mean, did you feel like you were that people were prejudiced against you?
Well, they were at school. When our school was Rosenwald, Rosenwald closed down for the high school and us in 1961. My sister was the last class to graduate from Rosenwald, and we had to come over here to Springfield High School. Well, they treated us so terrible that we just had to quit. You couldn't, the teachers didn't want you here. In other words, they didn't want you here because we were in class one day and...
Now, you were in high school at that point, up at the old high school.
High school in,
Springfield High.
Springfield High. And it was one teacher, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he said you had to scoot back in your chair and make your feet touch the floor. Well, I'm a short person. When I scooted back, my feet wouldn't touch the floor. And I scooted back and I said, for your feet to touch the floor. I said, well, sir, my feet don't touch the floor when I scoot back. He said, well, I'm going to kick you on your leg if your feet don't touch. So I said, well, you're not going to kick me. I'm sorry. And he said, go to the principal. They treated us like that. So it was just terrible.
So a lot of teachers, I hope there were some good teachers.
There were some good teachers. Some of them were good. But they would,
But it made your life miserable being at the high school.
You just had to quit.
What about the students, the other students, the white students?
The students wasn't as bad as the teachers. Some of them, they didn't want to sit beside you or something like that. But
you remember that?
Oh, yeah, you can remember them. I remember they didn't want to sit with us, even on the bus. They would tell us, if we tried to sit on the bus, they didn't want to sit on the bus with us.
So I suppose that then the black students stayed in their own section, and the white students...
We talked to them. I would talk. We talked to them. They had basketball teams. They had football teams. Basketball, Debbie's dad played basketball at Springfield High School. Okay. Billy Wakefield. There was a lot of them that played basketball at Springfield High School.
So I guess they were integrated in sports. And did they share the same locker room and all of that?
I don't even remember seeing a locker room.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing a locker room.
And so, of course, at that time, there weren't any sports for the girls.
No. But I played softball when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. So there was
high school.
At Rosenwald. But when you came to Springfield,
no.
There wasn't any sports for girls.
Wasn't any sports for girls.
Yeah. That's another thing we were talking about earlier, how far our women have come.
Yes.
Because we didn't even have any sports in school for women.
For women, no.
So you had a double whammy, Alma.
Yes.
Not only were you black, but you were a woman.
Yes, exactly.
So you were discriminated in all kinds of ways. So was there anything that stands out in your mind about as far, so you had to end up quitting school, is what you're saying?
Yes, I quit, but I went back and got my GED and went on, did my
But
what
at
I had
that
to do.
time, what grade did you were you?
I was a junior. I was a junior in high school.
And that was because things were just so bad.
Just so bad, yes. I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
So, are there other instances of things that that come to mind when you think about in your life in general, or school, or what have you?
We were taught at home to treat everybody equal. When we were coming up, we didn't see color when I was coming up, because we lived around white people. But it didn't bother us, because our grandfather said Mr. Bottoms was just as good as the Burtons. Mr. Lanham was just as good as anybody.
Everybody was the same.
Everybody. We had them all to come to our house. They would come and sit and eat with us. We never.
The white farm neighbors?
Yes. And my dad would go over and help him cut tobacco, and they would come over and help my dad and them cut tobacco. But we never ever.
So you really didn't see a difference at home?
No.
And so it had to have been quite a shock when you went to the high school then.
And when we got big enough to come out,
when you were coming into town and things like that.
See the stuff like that, but we never.
What did you see in town during that time?
The things like the courthouse having the different water fountains and the different bathrooms, and you couldn't sit in the restaurant with them. You
couldn't sit in the restaurant
with the white people.
You had to sit at your own
to sit in
certain tables, or
no, you didn't go in.
Oh, you didn't go in. You weren't allowed to go in the restaurant.
No, you didn't go in, because they used to have a White Castle in Lebanon. We used to walk downtown when we were at lunch, and we would go to the White Castle was the name of the restaurant, and we went and ordered our food. They would tell us to stand at the door, and they would bring it to us.
Wow. How did it feel when the first time you went into a restaurant, Alma?
To me it was...
Or when did that happen? Was it right after?
Knows?
Yeah,
it wasn't too long after, I guess, because we just never went out to eat like we do now.
Most people,
Mom always cooked, and, like I do on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, on Sunday you have...
I have my family over.
How many, Alma, do you have?
40, 50, doesn't matter.
Oh, my gosh.
30, 25, whatever. Every Sunday. My children come home on Sunday.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful.
My children.
That's probably what your mother did.
That's what my mama did. That's what my grandmother did also. My grandmother did that. She did that. We all cooked on Sunday, and everybody came to our house on Sundays.
That's amazing. So, well, and I think today, you've seen your children succeed, Alma. So I do think, as I was saying about our women earlier, we've come a long way.
Come a long way, yes. We've come a long way.
But I do think we probably still have a ways to go, wouldn't you say?
I say we do. I still say there's some prejudice around town, from some people, but not everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's not the same.
Yeah.
Everybody is not the same.
Yeah. But, I would say there's still some prejudice in the world. We see that in the news.
I was in the dollar store one time when it was down by Rite Aid, and this lady, I was in line, and she asked the clerk, "Are you going to take her money before you take mine?"
Oh my gosh, Alma. How long ago was that?
That's when the dollar store was down by Rite Aid.
Well, that hasn't been but, I
don't
know.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And she
5 years ago, yeah.
She walked up and said, "Are you going to take her money before you take mine?" Well, I looked at her like, well, my money's green too, ma'am. My money's green. And she did. She walked up, and I remember the clerk said, Alma's money is just as good as yours.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
She did. I could call her name if you want me to. Her name was Charlotte. Charlotte. She said...
She was the clerk.
She was the clerk. And she said, Alma's money is just as good as yours. So when I got outside, I said, ma'am, I'm sorry that you feel this way. I did. I stopped and waited for her outside.
Well, Alma, that was awfully good of you, because some people might have given her a good cussing.
No, I didn't. I just talked to her nicely. I said, look, my money was the same color as yours. And my money spends just like yours, and I work for mine just like you work for yours. I hope you work for yours. And but she was an older lady. I was brought up not to disrespect older people.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, I tell you. Anyway, you've accomplished a lot of good things, Alma, and so I'm glad that we can honor you today and honor our Black history.
Yes.
And they had a great program down to Holy Rosary
Sunday
yesterday, and that was really, really good. And it was good to see the young people there.
Yes.
Because as I mentioned, you have to know your past and your history to be able to appreciate your present and work on your future.
Exactly. That's what you have to do.
Is there anything that you would like to share with us, Alma, before we go?
I'm so glad that I have lived to see a Black mayor in this town, a Black mayor in Perryville, and also a president. I've lived long enough to see a, well, African-American president.
Right, right.
So I thank God for that.
Well, yeah. So that's, and we see more and more people getting involved all the time in, African Americans in politics and women too.
Yes.
I always have to throw the women in too.
I'm so happy. That's why I was so happy to see a mayor, in Springfield, first Black lady, first woman in Perryville.
Yeah.
Kentucky. My mom was from Perryville, Kentucky, from Boyle County, so that's the reason why I was glad to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
And you go up to the school, I know, and help with the, when they have Georgia
Powers,
Georgia Powers, that kind of something, teaching about her in the elementary school to the students.
Yes, we did.
And so, of course, she was a Black woman senator from Kentucky.
Yeah, from
in the Kentucky legislature from Washington
County.
Yeah. So I know you know a lot about her, Georgia Davis Powers. So yeah.
Yes.
So, well, Alma, I want to thank you for being here today.
And thank you for asking me.
Congratulations to you on your 55 years at Head Start. And are you looking toward retirement anytime again?
Well, maybe sometimes. I don't know when. I have
You've got a lot of energy.
Yeah, I have a lot of energy.
Yes, you do. And take after your mother.
Yes, after Mom.
Yeah. So thanks very much.
Thank you.